This is DC Hammer, and this is the DC Hammer Show. The Epoch Times is reporting that not only is China's use of dirty coal, in other words, coal burned with low technology that creates an environmental hazard by spewing contaminants into the air, as you can see in this photograph taken at the Red Dragon's coal-fired power plant, Huanan, 2 years ago. So although the Red Dragon, Red China, has promised to decrease its dependency on burning dirty coal, it has actually increased it. What a shock. How dare they do something completely contrary to what they had promised? Oh, wait a minute. That's what they always do. But anyway, satellite images indicate that there's an increase in the amount of dirty coal being used by the Chinese. And the use of this additional dirty coal even goes against the Chinese Communist Party's own measures that they took 6-7 years ago in order to reduce the growth of its coal industry. They are only paying lip service to that, and they continue to creep up on India. India is the worst violator of environmental pollution in the world, and China is number 2. But apparently China, in all things, wants to be dominant, just as they want to take over the entire world. Apparently they also want to dominate pollution. So the Red Dragon's continued war against all of its neighbors and all the other countries of the world continues to escalate, and apparently its war on the environment is increasing as well. They actually have a military handbook called Unrestricted Warfare, and resource warfare is described as grabbing riches by plundering stores of resources. Not my words, these are coming direct from the mouth of the Red Dragon. And legal warfare is described as seizing the earliest opportunity to set up regulations. The goal of this kind of warfare will encompass more than merely using means that involve the forces of arms to force the enemy to accept one's own will, the book states. In other words, one way or another, through peace or war, they intend to dominate the rest of the world, whether we like it or not, and whether dinosaur Dianne Feinstein benefits from it or not. She's been benefiting for decades, and who knows what's happening now as far as the captured elites, as the Red Dragon calls them, the influential people in other countries that they trap by either inducing them financially or blackmailing them with photographs and whatever else to keep them in line. So the Red Dragon, the Chinese Communist Party, continues to manipulate laws and regulations, continue to make statements as if they're going to be an abider in clean environmental policies, but they continue to do whatever they can to get the earth minerals out of the soil and to use dirty coal and other means in order to generate its electricity. So just as the energy business has been a key concern in places like the Russian Federation and the Ukraine, it is also a key component to what is taking place over in communist China. And by this report, if you go by the numbers, the Chinese regime environmental track record includes reckless destruction of its own natural resources, and it's fair to say that the CCP, that's the Chinese Communist Party, cares very little about how its industry affects the environment. So once again, I call for a commission to be formed within the United States House of Representatives. I believe a panel of experts like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should be mustered together and sent over immediately to the den of the Red Dragon to check out what they're doing there, because this cannot fit within the parameters of the new Green Deal, I wouldn't think, would you? But of course, if the Communist Chinese do make incremental improvements in what they're doing, moving to clean energy, naturally, it's only as they are using technology that they've stolen from United States companies such as American Superconductor Corporation in order for them to improve solar panels, wind turbines, and other technology. So thank God President Trump pulled us out of the Paris Accord, which would have just enabled the Communist Chinese to increase the gap, the pollution gap. In other words, for them to continue to push pollutants into the environment, as the United States would have been strangled to try to inch 1 degree higher in what it's doing to protect the environment. So according to the Heartland Institute, China's carbon dioxide emissions rose at the fastest rate in 7 years during the first quarter of 2018. That's according to Greenpeace. And so once again, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, please get your commission together. Head over to the Red Dragon. They need you greatly in order for you to improve what they're doing to destroy our environment. And the Free Beacon is reporting that satellite photographs are showing a Chinese anti-satellite laser base. So the Chinese have a secret anti-satellite laser base in their province, Western Xinjiang, along with other high-technology weapons facilities. So this is about a retired Indian Army colonel actually discovered this image. And once again, you have no idea what the Red Dragon is doing within its borders at different places. And what they admit to is never what is really going on. And what that colonel from India is asserting, that these structures that they are building in China have sliding roofs. And beneath that, then, you see a laser tracker. And so you take this all together, and the Chinese can fire 1 to 3 of the lasers against an orbiting satellite that China is, quote-unquote, seeking to disrupt. So once again, we have to be very wary of what the Red Dragon, the Communist Chinese, are doing. And it appears now that in addition to what they're doing to destroy the environment, they also have the capability to destroy our satellites. And they will not admit what they're really doing, and I'm sure they'll have a perfectly good explanation for why they need this technology. But this is, again, one of those weapons that they've developed that it has no other use other than to take out assets that are used and controlled by other countries in the world. Pamela Giller is reporting that Ilhan Omar is facing campaign finance violation probes. And yes, just as AOC had been taken to task for what she did to violate finance campaign laws, it appears that one of the other puppets, the people that passed the audition in order to be put up for public office by the Justice Democrats and Zach Exley and Corbin Trent, the masters behind the puppets, it appears that Ilhan Omar was just as sloppy to finance her campaign as AOC was. And this involves around the sloppy bookkeeping and use of campaign finance monies interspersed with personal finances. And so I'm sure that as the investigation grows, this combined with the action that Judicial Watch is taking, compelling a deep investigation into the allegations of immigration fraud that apparently was used in order for Omar to even arrive in this country, and those questionable circumstances about her relationship to her own brother and so on. You can add these suspected campaign violations to the list of issues that are being investigated regarding this freshman congressperson from Minnesota who has a penchant for calling out others that express any support to Israel, as Omar continues to try to become a critical figure within the Democrat Party. At the same time, there are a lot of issues regarding how she got to this country, what she's been doing with her finances since then, what she did to get elected, how she used different monies, personal and otherwise, in order to get elected, and the comments that she's been making about the Jewish community and pointing the finger at other congresspeople about whether they truly have the best interest of the United States in mind with what they do, and talk about the pot calling the kettle black. And if you remember, a while back, our Q team posted some drops, and one of the drops questioned, when do birds sing? And as we all know, birds sing in the spring, and apparently one of the birds that's singing in the spring, as seen here in OANN, that One America News Network piece, that James Clapper, former member of the intelligence community of the Obama administration, is now saying outright, after previously mentioning this once in an interview a while back, has now doubled down in asserting that Barack Hussein Obama ordered the quote-unquote Russia probe. So as the shoes continue to drop, as we continue to peel the onion back, it looks like when we get to the core of that onion, it's going all the way to the top of the previous administration. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching and listening, and God bless. And now the DC Hammer Show is available as an audio podcast. Just go to Podcast Garden or iTunes and search for DC Hammer or News Narrative Analysis Associates, NNAA.